I found a camera in the woods near Chernihiv. It was half buried in the mud, lens cracked and covered in leaves, just lying there like someone dropped it while running. I almost ignored it, but something about it felt wrong, like it was meant to be found. I work as a forest ranger, and I've seen strange things, wild animals, lost hikers, even a couple of cult-like gatherings, but this was different. The air around that camera felt heavier, like the trees were holding their breath. I swear it was colder, too. I took it back to the cabin, cleaned it up, and found an old SD card still inside. No label. I should have left it alone, but curiosity got the best of me. I plugged it into my laptop, not knowing it would change everything. That night, the forest stopped being quiet. The first video started normal. A man filming himself walking through the same woods I patrol. Timestamp. 2 nights before I found it, he looked nervous, kept glancing behind him. There was this weird clicking in the background, like branches snapping rhythmically. Then something moved in the frame. At first I thought it was just an animal, but it stood up. It was tall. Too tall, with joints that bent the wrong way. The man whispered, "It's following me," and started running. The camera shook violently, then the screen went black.
I stared at the screen, frozen. The video was only 2 minutes long, but it felt like hours. When I looked up, the window behind me was fogged, like someone had breathed on it. But I live alone. No one should have been there. That was the first night I heard the voice.
A soft voice outside, whispering my name. I didn't sleep, and when I checked the SD card again, a new video had appeared, one I know wasn't there before, same timestamp, but now it showed my cabin from the outside and someone or something watching me from the trees. I couldn't explain it. That second video showed my cabin exactly as it looked that night. Same lights on, same firewood pile, same jacket hanging outside, but I hadn't filmed anything. And whoever was holding the camera, they were breathing heavily, like they were excited. I stepped outside, flashlight in hand, heart pounding. The forest was silent, no wind, no animals, just nothing. I walked the perimeter with my light shaking in my grip. Every shadow looked like it could reach out. Every tree felt like it had eyes watching, waiting. That night, I locked every door and window, something I never do in this forest. I grew up here. I trusted these woods. But now, I felt like a trespasser in my own cabin. I couldn't shake the feeling that whatever filmed me wasn't human or alive or alone. I barely slept. Every time I started drifting off, I'd hear it again. That clicking. Same rhythm as in the video. Click, 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 click. Right outside my window. I'd rushed to look, but there was never anything there. Just fogged, just trees, just that horrible feeling. The third video uploaded itself. That's not a figure of speech. I never touched the SD card again. But somehow, when I turned on my laptop, there it was, a new file, no name. Just a timestamp that matched exactly when I heard the clicking last night. I hit play. It was dark, grainy, but I could make out the outline of my cabin again. Closer this time, to closed, than a whisper. Not in any language I knew. It sounded wet, gurgled, like someone trying to speak through water or blood. Then a screech. It was brief, but it paralyzed me. That screech felt like it came from inside my head. My nose started bleeding. My lights flickered. And just for a second, my laptop screen showed a frame that looked like my face, but distorted, warped, twisted with terror. I unplugged the laptop, yanked the SD card, and threw it into the fireplace. Flames swallowed it whole, but it didn't make me feel safer. That night I drove into town, slept in my truck outside a gas station, but even there, in the middle of nowhere, I wasn't alone. Around 3 a.m. I woke up drenched in sweat. My windows were fogged again, but only the inside. On the glass, someone had drawn symbols, crooked spirals, and long vertical scratches. I wiped them away, heart racing, trying to convince myself I was dreaming. I stayed in town the next 2 days, ignoring the forest, the cabin, everything. But on the third morning, I found something slip under my truck's wiper blade. A single photo, printed old, grainy. It showed me standing in the woods, back turned, camera pointed at me. I swear to you I never posed for that. I don't even own a printer, but there I was, clear as day. Same jacket, same scar on my hand, and behind me in the photo, those twisted branches again, but they weren't branches. They were fingers, long, thin, reaching. I took the photo to a friend who works in surveillance tech. He ran some software on it, hoping to clean up the image. When the photo enhanced, we both stepped back. You could see its face now, not fully, just the suggestion of it. Behind the trees, a mouth to wide. He asked me where I got the photo. I lied, said I found it on the ground. He nodded but looked pale. Before I left, he handed me a flash drive, said, "If anything happens to me, give this to the police." I never saw him again. He didn't come to work the next day. I called his apartment. No answer. His neighbors hadn't seen him, but the scariest part, I found the same symbols from my truck. Spirals and scratch marks carved into the trees outside his building, as if it followed me, as if I led it right to him. I tried to run, quit my job, left the cabin behind, told no one where I was going. I rented a place 5 hours south, changed my phone number, ditched every piece of tech I owned. But on the first night in the new place, I heard the clicking again, faint, but there. I didn't sleep. I just sat on the floor, back to the wall, knife in my hand. Nothing happened that night. But when I opened the fridge in the morning, every item inside had been rearranged into a spiral, that exact same symbol, and I live alone. I checked the locks, the windows, every camera in the building. No break-in, nothing. I started doubting myself. Maybe I was going crazy. Maybe stress was twisting my memory. But then I got the package. No return address, just my name, and inside a new SD card. I didn't want to watch it, but I did. Of course I did. This time the footage was from above, a drone maybe. It hovered above my new building, showing me through the window, standing, frozen, watching the camera like I knew it was there, like I posed. There was no sound in this video. Just static. Then one frame glitched in, black screen, white text. I'll never forget what it said. You saw IT. Now IT sees you. I threw the card away. But every time I turn on a screen now, that message flashes, even for a second. I tried showing someone, recording it with my phone, but in the footage, there's nothing. Just me staring at a blank screen. People think I'm losing it. My sister stopped answering my calls. I get it, I wouldn't believe me either. But I'm not lying, I swear. 2 nights ago, I heard footsteps in my apartment. Heavy, wet, slow. I locked myself in the bathroom. When I finally opened the door, everything was gone. Furniture, lights, photos. Just gone. The walls were bare. Except one thing. Carved into the wall, that spiral. The spiral on the wall wasn't drawn. It was carved deep, like someone had used a blade or claws. Around it were numbers, coordinates. I plugged them into my phone. The location, my old cabin. The one I abandoned weeks ago. I hadn't told anyone where it was. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But every screen I looked at started glitching. My phone, my TV, even the ATM at the store. They all flashed the same numbers, same coordinates. It was like something was calling me. Not asking, demanding. I finally gave in, packed a bag, drove out there during the day. The woods looked the same, calm, quiet, indifferent. But the closer I got to the cabin, the more the air changed. Like it wasn't oxygen anymore. Thick, cold, charged with something unnatural. The cabin door was open. That's the first thing I noticed. It used to creak, but now it swung silently, like it was waiting for me inside. Nothing had changed. My old boots were still by the door. The fireplace still smelled like smoke, but it wasn't warm. I found a note on the table. It was written in my handwriting, but I never wrote it. It said, "You brought it here." It was never in the forest. It was always inside you. The edges of the note were burned, and underneath it, another SD card. I should have laughed. I know I should have. But I pushed it into my laptop. The screen stayed black. No video, just audio. It was my voice, whispering things I've never said, then screaming. I covered my ears, but the sound didn't stop. It wasn't coming from the laptop. It was inside the cabin. It was me. Something was mimicking my voice, word for word, breath for breath, but wrong, slower, deeper. And then it laughed, and I realized it wasn't copying me. I was copying it. I'd always been. I ran, didn't even take my bag. I don't remember getting to the car. I just remember the trees moving. Not swaying, moving, like they were following me, like they knew who I was, or worse, what I was becoming. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. When I made it back to town, I booked a motel under a fake name. But that night, the mirror in the room cracked down the middle. No sound, no pressure, just a slow fracture. Like something inside the glass was trying to get out or trying to see me. I covered it with a towel and tried to sleep. But at exactly 3:33 a.m., the lights flickered. The radio turned on by itself, static. Then that same wet whisper from the video. Only this time, it said something new. Almost home, over and over. I ran into the bathroom to hide. But the mirror I had covered, the towel had fallen, and in the reflection, I wasn't alone. My face was there, 2 of them, one looking back at me, smiling, the other one standing just behind me, eyes black, mouth open. I screamed, the glass shattered, blood everywhere. Motel staff found me unconscious. They say I had a breakdown, that I hit my head on the sink. But that doesn't explain the voice they all heard. That gurgling whisper through the vents, he's almost home. I don't sleep much now. When I do, I dream of forests, spirals, and something crouched just behind me, waiting, breathing, watching. I wake up gasping, nails bloody from scratching at the walls. My hands aren't even mine anymore. I barely recognize them. I keep seeing shadows move where there shouldn't be any. My reflection sometimes moves slower than I do, and last night it didn't move at all. It just stared, smiling, and in the fog on the glass it wrote the words, "You brought me back." I've tried everything, burning the laptop, smashing every screen, moving again and again, but it always finds me. In reflections, in whispers, in symbols drawn on walls I never touched. It doesn't want to kill me, it wants me to be it, to let it in completely. My memories are starting to change. I remember walking through the forest, but now there's someone else beside me, a taller version of me, eyes like burned wood, mouth too wide. I don't know which one I really am anymore. The past feels like fiction. Yesterday, I picked up a stick in the woods. Without thinking, I drew the spiral perfectly like I'd done it 1,000 times before. My hands moved on their own, and when I looked up, someone was watching. Not hiding, just standing, wearing my face. I ran, but I could still feel it behind me. Not chasing, just waiting, like it knew where I was headed, like it had already lived this moment before. And when I reached my car, the windows were fogged, and this time the message was longer. It said, "You were never alone, you just forgot the sound of your own echo." And underneath it, in smaller writing, "It's your turn now." I checked the back seat, nothing. But when I turned the key, the radio started playing something I haven't heard in years. It was my voice from one of those first videos, saying the same words, "It's following me." But now, in the background, I heard a second voice, laughing, no, echoing, like a delayed reflection or a future version of me warning me too late again. So if you ever find a camera in the woods, don't watch the tape, burn it, walk away. And if you've already heard the clicking, the whispering, or seen the spirals, please tell me. Because if I'm the only one who remembers, maybe I never existed at all. If you've heard something like this too, leave a comment. I need to know I'm not alone.